Hi, my name's Emily and I am a customer support advisor here at ALPS. In this short video I'm going to talk you through the best practice for data management for consortiums who are wishing to monitor their students through Connect Interactive. This video is designed for data managers who are submitting monitoring data for their consortium. And I am going to assume some knowledge of Connect data. So if this is your first time submitting data, then I would definitely recommend going to the knowledge base available from the help button once you're logged in, and having a look at our series of data submission webinars, which you can find by searching for Getting Started in the knowledge base. So this video will apply to any consortium schools in England, Wales, Northern Ireland or international, and the process that you will go through is consistent between Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5. So before I show you Connect data, I do want to run through some definitions with you. And these will really help for this video and also for any of our consortium materials that you might use. So we define a consortium as a school or colleges that swap students. So if, for example, your school or college teaches students who are enrolled elsewhere, or perhaps your enrolled students take one or more of their subjects at a different school, we would define you as a consortium. Now, on-roll, taught at and guest students are things that we will talk about quite a bit. Your on-roll students are the students who are enrolled at your school and college. Now you can define on-roll in the student level data, and I will show you this in Connect data shortly. And your taught at, similarly, these are students who are taught at your school or college regardless of where they're enrolled. So these are, will be some of your guest or visiting students, and this is subject level data, so can be imported with your teaching set information. So your guest students or visiting students are students who are taught at your school or college but enrolled elsewhere. So in terms of analysis, this is what we're aiming for. Now this format with the on-roll grade point and the taught at grade point, this mirrors the consortium provider report format that you would have received in summer and that your colleagues will be familiar with. And what this format allows your colleagues to do is it allows them to monitor your on-roll students throughout the year, regardless of where they're taught. And this is going to be an important series of grade points for your government measures, as these are the students that you're responsible for. And the taught at grade points are important from a sort of teaching and learning in school or college point of view. And these are all of the students that you teach regardless of where they're enrolled. Okay. So getting into the data entry and management. Now many schools use SIMS admission numbers as their student IDs when they import into Connect data, and that is absolutely what we would recommend, particularly if you're using our report definitions for SIMS. However, for consortiums it can become slightly more complex as SIMS admission numbers are unique to the school. But they can be the same in different institutions. So what we often find with consortiums is that students from different institutions may well have the same SIMS admission number, and that just makes it slightly more difficult as the software uses student ID to match all of the student information across the student data import, the teaching data import, and any grades imports that you do. So what we recommend is to prefix your guest student IDs with the roll school initials. So I've given an example here. So if these are our schools within the consortium, if we were Green Abbey School, for example, and we had a visiting student from Greenbeck School, we could prefix the student ID with the initials GBS, and that would just make sure that that student's ID was unique. Alternatively, if you don't use SIMs, or if you do have the UPNs of the students available, then you can use those, as those will be unique to the students. But you do just need to remember, particularly if you're using SIMs and our report definitions, to extract UPN at the same time. Okay, so going into Connect Data, I am on the home page of Connect Data here, my cohort screen. Now the first thing that you will need to do if you are a consortium school before you start any data entry at all is come to the Connect Data settings here, click on Consortium Schools and ensure that this is enabled here. And this will allow you to submit your on-roll and your taught at data when you're actually doing your data imports. So coming back to my cohort screen, if I click on year 13, this will take me to my my students page, and you can see here these are going to be students who are enrolled in my institution because they have no prefix. However, this student here, this student is on roll at school Y, and we are Consortium School X. So just looking down this list, it becomes very easy to identify your visiting or guest students. So if you ever need to edit or view the on-roll and taught at information, if you click on the pencil here, the on-roll is available here and can be edited here. And in subject information we have our teaching sets, and in the teaching sets we can see we have this taught at option. So this student, for example, is taught English literature and Spanish at school X and is taught design and technology at school Y. Now in terms of importing these in the first place, when you import your student data for the first time, ideally that's when you would import your role data, and you can just add on a column to your Excel spreadsheet when you're importing your student information, such as the ID, forename, surname, and similarly for the subject information, you can add on a column to your Excel spreadsheet when you're importing your teaching data, and populate that with where those students are actually taught those subjects. If you do ever need to make any edits, particularly to the teaching sets or taught at data, then from this student screen you can click on Import Additional Data, and we would recommend using Update and Merge, and clicking on the teaching data. This will essentially take you back through the teaching data import. Now if you sort of want a refresher, or you're not so familiar with making edits to your teaching data or any of your data with this Import Additional Data tool, then I would absolutely recommend looking at our Editing Data webinar, as that will run through and will really take you through the use cases for the update and merge and the overwrite and replace. Okay, So really the crucial thing is making sure that you keep these IDs consistent through your student data import, where you're going to have your on roll, your teaching data import, where you've got your taught at information, and then also in any grades imports, either through the add monitoring point or the add exam results. And if I come to the grades page here, then we can see that I've got again a mix of my my on-roll students and my guest students here. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. If you do have any questions, then please do get in touch. Consortiums can be a bit tricky, so we're always very happy to help. So if you do have any questions about the best practice or sort of particular for your use case, then please do let us know. Thank you.